quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, another exciting episode of our ongoing Pathfinder actual play podcast. My name is Lars. Hi, welcome. I'm the Slab of Cod. That's what they call me. And I'm joined today by David the Tin Man Chernicoff. Hi, David.
Good that time, Lars.
Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Good this time.
Good this time. Great call. It's our Matt Humphreys is also here.
Oh, good treasure trove time, y'all.
Oh.
Good treasure trove time. Ah, yes. The treasure trove is waiting in our game. And who else is waiting to be introduced? It's Robin Lange. Hi.
Hello. Good gold time.
Good gold time. So I mentioned earlier that I'm called the Slab of Cod. That's a new nickname that's happened recently. And we got to talk about this. We got to put a pin in this conversation. Shortly after we recorded let me give you the full background, just in case you're not following this as closely as I imagine you are. A few episodes, David said, Slab of Cod, by the way, Lars, you should wear a mustache. And I was like, what? Okay. And I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what Slab of Cod had to do with mustaches. David, when we talked about this later, he doesn't know either what he meant by that. Is that fair to say, David?
I thought there was context where Slab of Cod that's been something that had been discussed slightly earlier in that interaction, and I just couldn't
there was
remember
something
what
else,
it was.
And all I can really remember now is that it's Armat's Lamb of God tribute band.
That was a tag. The Lamb of God tribute band was a tag on David saying, speaking of Slab of Cod, you should keep your mustache.
You know, I do have a strong sense that there was an antecedent for it. I couldn't tell you what that was. And so that may mean
it felt right, is what I'll say.
That there wasn't. I appreciate that this turned into something like what happens in the game, where I have a vague inkling that something occurred in the past, and Robin is like, "Oh no, I remember that exactly," and then plays it back in perfect detail. But yeah,
so
that's all.
You sound like all my friends and my weird memory.
We brought this up on the show before. After we recorded last time we recorded, David, as we were hanging up, was like, Lars, I feel bad that you've got this mustache that you've said looks stupid, and you like you're keeping it as a bit. Like, I don't like why would you do that? Pretty much. And so I want to answer to that, and I'm going to say, everybody, I like the mustache now. I think the mustache is good. I'm keeping the mustache. Papa don't preach. I'm keeping this mustache.
This is you. This is the new Lars.
This is the new me. I've got a mustache now. I'm a mustache guy. That's the kind of guy that I am. And this, so one, I just want to say, David, please don't feel bad about that. People at home, if you're thinking that I don't like my mustache, I'm sorry, I like it now. If you don't like it, that's too bad, because I like it. But Robin put in our chat a conversation starter, which was the idea that mustaches are the new, or are bangs, but for men. Like, mustaches are to men as bangs are to women.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to this. Should we unpack this? Do people agree with this idea? Are bangs the same as mustaches?
Like,
are mustaches the same as bangs?
When a guy grows a mustache, like a full beard, people are like, oh, that's handsome. That's thing. But a mustache is a statement, right? There's always a different response to mustache than just than a beard. And I think the same thing, like, I cut my bangs, everyone's like, oh, bangs. Oh, like I saw some people in the Discord and be like, hey, Robin got a new haircut. Like, I've gotten tons of other new haircuts. But no one ever responds to them the same way they respond to when a woman cuts bangs for the first time in a while. And I feel like the response to your mustache was very similar. People have opinions.
If I may, and anybody else, feel free to jump in on this. I feel as though commentary about bangs is prevalent because it is a change that can be made to a person's hair, specifically a woman's hair, that a man can comment on in a value neutral way. You can say something about a person's haircut without saying it looks good or you look nice or whatever. You can just be like, you got bangs. I have identified a change to your haircut. It is the presence of bangs. You got them. I noticed them. I'm a person who notices things, and will say when I notice them to you. I think that is a big part of the bangs commentary, personally.
Yeah, I mean,
for men, I'm talking about just people in general as well.
No, you're right.
I've
sorry.
had plenty of women just be like, "Oh, bangs."
Oh, bangs.
I mean, there's also times when you think you're saying it in a value neutral way, and then still get all funny reaction to it when, all you've said is you've altered yourself.
Yes.
Which is factually correct.
It's different now, and I know what it is.
Still,
it's bangs.
And still everybody.
Oh, you got a mustache.
Our bangs. So I like a gut level. I think of a mustache as being more difficult to reverse than bangs, but I don't know if that's true. I don't really know, and it may in fact be completely the opposite.
That's funny. I was sitting here thinking like the reverse thing distinguishes bangs for me, which is that it's easy to impulse have them. Like I think a lot of people are sort of like, I want to change. I'm going for bangs.
Yeah.
I mean, Robin has bangs. I don't, but they take a while to grow out.
Yeah.
Like it's to get to the point where you can start tucking them. It can be months. Depending on your bangs.
If you get bangs, like I was trimming them the other week, and I trimmed them like a centimeter too short as well. And that's even worse than it being slightly too long. Like every time I look in the mirror, I was like, they need to grow faster. It's there's a lot of weird upkeep that goes along with bangs, but mustaches. At the same time, mustache. I think what Zoe was getting at, and which I was thinking too.
I thought you were just talking to me. Sorry.
I'm just going to call you mustache now. I like it. Uh-huh. You have to plan to grow out the mustache. It's actually much easier to reverse than bangs. Like you can't undo bangs, but you can just shave off a mustache.
Oh, interesting. So it's like the buy-in for a mustache as opposed to bangs is like higher.
But yeah, like you can start and see whether or not you like it. If you don't like it, you can get rid of it before it's too late. It's
right. Whereas
always
bangs,
too late for bangs.
Once they're there, they're there. But you can make the decision, it sounds like, while you're in the chair and like, oh, I want to do bangs now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I walked into my stylist. It's like, I haven't had bangs in 15 years. Let's do it. He was like, what?
I think an element of the mustache that we're not addressing that I want to get out there is the idea of the drive-by mustache, which is like if you're starting with a beard and you're like, it's time for me to shave my beard off. There is not a man in the world who has ever gone from beard to no beard who has not stopped by at Mustache Town on the way
just to see what it looks like, because
Just
that's
to
the
see what
only
it looks
chance
like.
that you have.
Yeah, so I think that there is I think that everybody like the mustache is an easy in if you're starting from a beard, and incredibly easy out at any point, because no one's ever going to get mad at you for getting rid of a mustache. But if you've got bangs, you can't get rid of them unless you can't get rid of them. You unless you cut all of your hair off. Is that the only off ramp to get a bowl cut from a bang?
Or just shave them off.
Just
go
shave
to a
them?
buzz.
But then you have to shave them forever, because then they'll just be like weirdly growing in, and you still have to wait for them to grow out with everything else.
Like, what's her name from D'Antwoord from Chappie, the lady from Chappie? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Chappie lady?
Yolandi.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Of course I know D'Antwoord.
Wait,
They're
does this
amazing.
mean that have any of you seen Chappie?
I saw Chappie. Oh, yeah. I saw Chappie on my birthday one time.
I didn't know.
I was like, well.
Was that one? That's one of the times you went and saw Chappie?
On my birthday, I was like, there's a thing that I used to do that I don't do anymore because nobody likes it, which is if it's my birthday, I can convince people to come and spend time with me doing the worst possible thing that nobody would ever want to do because they feel obligated to do it.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I had a birthday screening of Chappie one time because I was like, well, somebody's got to watch this damn thing. Like somebody has to get a sense of what's going on
to the world.
with Chappie. So we watched it. I found it to be an ugly,
Imagine
brutal
what would happen
movie
to humanity if no one cataloged that.
Yeah, that's true. It would be lost. It's
Maybe that's
the Library
current
of
problem.
Alexandria is
Not
Chappie.
enough people have seen Chappie.
I have seen Chappie, and I'm willing to tell you, Zoe, that I don't think that's the problem.
Okay, all right. I was just trying to come up with something that might fix it.
This is the new front runner for the answer to like if you could magically
teleport a sentence directly into the brains of everyone on Earth all at once so that everyone was
Right. Go watch
what would be the
Chappie.
most helpful thing to do. And, it might be like love one another or whatever. Or it might just be like, you got to see Chappie.
You got to see Chappie.
Do yourself
Because
a
then if
favor.
everybody did, it would give them all, greater perspective on the
God, that movie even existed.
coming
I didn't enjoy it, is all I'll say.
apocalypse.
Was the year that followed that birthday any good, or was the whole thing?
No,
shit as a
it
result?
was a recent year, so it's been garbage. Are you serious?
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
What
It
kind
was
of-
it was within the last decade, so it's no bueno.
Well, if it
everybody.
had been the one that sent things in the other direction, it would be good to know about.
Yeah.
Oh, if
Then
Chappie
my
course
Chappie
corrected the
theory-
universe?
Yeah.
If it set things up for a prosperous year.
What the world needs now is to watch Chappie. Hey guys, was that fun? I don't know.
Did we come up with an answer then? Are they analogous mustaches and bangs?
You want an answer? I'll give you an answer summing up everything that we just said. I'll give you the conclusive summation of every single thing that was said in this. It's analogous, but it's again gendered because it's way easier to try the mustache and to get off of it than it is to the bangs. You're making a commitment. You're working at least 70% harder to make the thing happen. That's my take.
Now, here's what I'll say also. We have two gentlemen on here, two
Okay.
male identifying
two?
individuals who,
Okay.
there's
And
more than
also
that, but
me.
there's two specifically who have long hair and full beards. So we could also even just run a little bit of an experiment were they ever so inclined, where you guys could get bangs and mustache at the same
we
time.
could do both.
So I want to say this as gently as possible. A thing where you suggest to someone that they might want to change their appearance, instantly resulting in their changing their appearance in exactly that way,
Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
is unusual, and it's not what you should be expecting to happen, and it's not what I was expecting to happen.
I just feel like that's what happens. Is that not what happens?
Maybe now in this post-Chappie era.
Era? All right. Well, I think we solved a lot of mysteries.
PC.
In the PC in this year 2025 PC.
Anno Chappie.
10 PC, really.
Hey, let's move on to our game. Let's get into it. Thank you everybody for solving that mystery, and let's do more
I
stuff.
look forward to seeing Armat with bangs and just a mustache next week.
Armat didn't say no.
Who can say what will
And
happen?
if he does say no, I'll edit the show so that he doesn't say no.
That's right. You have that power.
I have AI now, so I can make David say, yes, Chappie will grow mustache and out there.
Oh man.
Okay, let's get
Thanks,
to it.
co-pilot.
Thanks, co-pilot. You're exploring a wide and murky lake deep underground in search of ancient lenses and knowledge about how to use their power to destroy the ghost of Belcora Haravex. If you're able to control the tools she used to build her abomination vaults, the thinking goes, it could be your best chance to derail her plot to destroy the city of Absalom in a posthumous act of apocalyptic revenge. You've moored your ship next to what appears to be the treasure vault you've been seeking, and have all clambered up onto a ledge hanging above the lake's surface. As Mag has approached the vault's large iron door to open it. Unfortunately, the secrets hiding within this fortified structure are also under the guard of a magical trap, which has just exploded in a blast of fire and force, threatening to send all of your flaming bodies back into the drink. There's something that I want to say about how finding traps in this game works, because I don't know if this is useful for all of you, but it is definitely, I think, a difference between this game and games like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in terms of its like design ethos and the idea behind it. I want to talk about exploration activities. This is something that we've like talked about a little bit before. Like it's a thing that comes up all the time. I'm not sure what the value of them has been articulated before, but the way that finding traps in this game works, and usually you guys find them, is that anybody who is searching, whenever there's something that they could find, I'm rolling a die for them to see if they find it. Right? So it is like the skill of the character, not the skill of the player that is being tested here.
So if you have like a weak build or whatever, you're probably not going to.
Exactly, Zoe. I'm so glad you brought
So we
that
really have no agency in this, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying, well, you have agency in terms of telling your, in terms of your character deciding what to do, but it takes pressure off of, there are two ways of looking at it, right? It's like either it takes agency away from players, or it takes pressure off of players to always say, I searched that for a trap, 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 which is a style of play that I'm like not at all into. So like the thing here is this trap has gone off. When a trap goes off, but you had two people searching, it's not because you played poorly. And when you find a secret door, it's not really because you're playing well. Your characters are doing the jobs that you have asked them to do. And we can have a bigger I think we should have a bigger conversation about this on the Goldmine, our Patreon exclusive discussion and behind the scenes show. But I just wanted to make sure to like underline this point that the story that we're telling right now is that there was a really well hidden trap on this door. Not that the people on this table are bad at finding traps. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the clarification.
I feel cared for.
Okay, great.
I thought, I just assumed it was bad dice, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Totally, it's bad dice. But a game like I remember when they were moving from D&D 4th edition to 5th edition, they like had blogs that developers were posting about like, we want this game to be like players are going to be only given things if they ask the right things. So if you're saying, I'm searching for a secret door, you have to say, I open the drawer and I look inside the drawer. Is there a secret drawer inside the drawer that is in this bureau that I'm looking at, right?
Yeah.
That's not what this game is. This game is like a more abstracted exploration. The things that are available to be found will be found if your character has like the stats and the luck necessary to like make it happen, basically.
You just like hit the nail on the head for something that drove me absolutely insane the first time I played D&D. It was like, I think our second session. We were in a temple, and I remember I had my character go and like investigate this area because we're trying to figure out what the next step was. And they went over there and they stepped up, they did all the stuff and nothing. I was just told, nope, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And we then spent the next hour of our session continuing to just explore this very small room of the temple until finally the wizard character goes over to the same character my monk was and just happens to get a better secret roll as he like stands there. And the DM's like, and a secret door opens. It's like, what the? No one went back there because you didn't give us any clue that there was something there. It was infuriating.
There's a bunch of things that I want to say in response to that I'm not going to say. But I think the core thing is that in a game that's run that way, it puts tons and tons of pressure on a GM to give little hints all the time about the thing that you should be looking for, and it's on the players to bite at those hints all the time, and it makes for a style of play that I think is not great for telling stories that make any sense. So that's just me. But here's a story that does make sense. You guys are all standing on a water slick ledge about 5 feet wide, right outside this vault door. This vault door that is this heavy iron door with a keyhole in it. Mag reached for the door, discovered that it was not locked, but discovered that it was rigged up with a trap. And because of that, this door goes boom as a magical rune is triggered and a blast of force is going to hit in a cone. That cone is going to be able to get, I think, just Trill, Mag, and Ao based on its location on the square of the door. So essentially the door opens and then this blast targets all three of you. And I need you to make a fortitude save as you are slammed in the face by 8d12 of force damage. That is 60 points of force damage with a fortitude save.
I think I'm going to probably use a hero point on that because I only rolled a 7. And so it came out to a 21. And I feel like that's not going to be great because that's a lot of damage for Trill's little body. So let's go ahead and re-roll that with a hero.
All right, hero
point.
pointing. Trill doesn't want to get blasted off of this ledge.
26. That
Okay.
seems slight. That seems maybe, hopefully, better enough to maybe half the damage.
Okay, that unfortunately is
It's
still a
not.
failure.
Ugh.
David, how did Mag do here?
It's the roll is a 30, and then whatever the result of that is, it gets rounded up. It gets bumped up one level.
Yeah, if you succeed, it gets bumped up. That you
to
did succeed,
critical
so that's a critical success.
Okay.
Nice.
And Zoe, how did Ao do here?
Ao got a 26.
Okay, so that's a failure also. So that means Trill and Ao are both taking the full 60 points of force damage as this thing just blasts into you. Both of you are pushed back 10 feet into the water. If you have a
Swoosh.
free hand, you can try to... No, I don't think we have reactions. We're just slopping back. So Ao and Trill both fly back, like being yanked back by on a rope. They just fly back into the water and splash down.
Cool.
Ouch.
Cool.
Mag jumps in, dives in after Trill.
Thank you. Yeah, I imagine Trill, like, she's got her lute in her hand, and as she's trying to see through the water coming into her eyes, she sees Mag jump in, and she's like, with her other hand, she's trying to reach out for Mag, because Trill's not much of a swimmer. Short legs and all.
Isthan will slide up and stick his staff out to Ao to help pull her in.
Can Ao quickly treat herself and Trill?
Yeah, there's so Zoe, I'm going to answer your question by saying, like, Ao looks around trying to see, like, does she need to quickly do battle medicine or something like that? You don't hear anything else happen. Nothing is coming out the door after you. This trap has exploded. You're not in initiative or anything like that. Like, for now, it seems like you could potentially take some time to treat wounds.
So is Ao treating us, like, on the ledge here before we go into the treasure vault?
Here, Trill, quick, get some gauze. You'll feel better.
Oh, it's actually really good at soaking up the water. Thank you.
Okay, so Ao starts setting about tending to the wounds here on this ledge. Your boat is sort of bobbing a short distance away. And it looks like we've gotten two treated wounds so far. So
All
it's
right,
been
I think
20
three
minutes
will
so
do
far.
it.
It's going to
Yeah.
be 30 minutes to get everybody back up.
Okay.
So during that 30 minutes, Lars, is it
Yeah.
possible to be... I mean, Mag will mostly
Yeah.
be standing guard.
Zoe.
I think she's certainly not going to go wandering into the booby-trapped treasure palace alone with everybody else bleeding out here
Yeah.
on the front stoop. But is there any further information from general vigilance or investigation on, let's say, the nature of what that trap was, or
Yeah, totally.
other physical signs of what's going on here? It sounds like there's no life forms inside this immediate room. If that's the case, is it possible to, like, peek ahead in there and get, like, a quick scan of what that is, or would that be inviting further trouble? I guess that's probably inviting further trouble.
Yeah, I'll let you make the decision about whether that's going to be inviting further trouble, but I'll answer the first of your questions
Yeah.
first. During this time, is there time to look around and see what's going on with this trap? I'll say yes. If anybody would like to, now that this trap has gone off, you can give me another perception check. Like, people can start trying to figure out what the deal is with this trap.
I am
think-
going to do that.
I'm going to say probably everybody except for Ao, since Ao is treating wounds this entire time.
I think Isthan would be too.
Yeah.
Blind or
Yeah, blind, please.
Oops. Ignore my first roll.
Okay.
Oh, no, it is blind. Great. You can
Nice.
use it.
Okay, so Mag and Isthan both take some time to use the fact that they know there's a trap here to try to spot it. Neither one of them comes up with much of anything.
I can't believe you're standing right there and it's just sort of like blew around you. It was impressive.
Oh, felt like wind.
Wow, that's amazing. Were you thinking, like, particularly heavy thoughts? Like, were you thinking of, like, basalt or marble or iron ore or an entire longboat filled with sailors and warriors.
My thoughts were no heavier than they typically would be in a situation like this.
I don't know which way to read that.
In the second 10-minute span, Lars, could I try again with crafting?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Say this thing is not apparent based on your eyes, but maybe you can manipulate this door and figure out what's going on with it that way. So I'll let you know that Mag spends the next 10 minutes sort of considering how this door is crafted, how this lock is crafted, and doesn't come up with anything substantive there, which I think perhaps tells Mag something, which is that this trap is incredibly well hidden, and you can reach the conclusion that this is meant to keep. There's a lot of effort went into keeping people out of this place.
Yeah.
And
a lot of skilled effort.
Expertise.
Yeah.
The person who put this thing that looks like a vault together knew what they were doing, and even like staring at this thing after having seen it blow up right in your face, you're mystified.
Yeah. I guess as we're all finished, or as Ao is finishing with the third round of healing, Mag turns to her. Ao, this seems like it might be a scenario where your mage hand might be of particular use. Would you send it in first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So what is Ao doing with the mage hand?
I think sort of like going along the perimeter. I think we can all agree clockwise to start. Just sort of scoping out what's around where she can reach.
Okay. So you're going into the room.
Yes.
Okay. So Ao steps into the room to start mage handing her way.
Can't I kind of be in the doorway?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Oh,
totally.
yes. Sorry. The mage hand is going in the room. I am not.
So what happens then is that Ao, I guess, swaps her space with Mag a little bit here in the doorway.
Yeah.
And looks in. And what Ao sees is not very much because she doesn't have that much light. So let's say either Mag or Trill or Istin is going to bend their light to let Ao see through the door a little bit better.
Yeah.
Can we cast light on the mage hand so it can sort of flashlight itself around? Does anyone have light anymore?
Let's do that. That's fun. Let's say that's the
sure.
That's the
I can do that. Yeah.
Mage hand is lit.
Okay, so this mage hand is lit, and Ao is at the perimeter of the door looking in. She is seeing into this room that is covered with dust. There are footprints, though, leading to a door on the southern side of on the eastern side of the room, but towards the south. You can actually kind of see it on the map, that there are footprints in the dust leading to that one door. There are 2 additional doors there that don't have any such footprints leading to it. And as Ao sends the mage hand around the room, do you want to test these doors to see if they're locked, or do you want to see if they're trapped? That kind of thing? Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So starting with this first door, Ao, the mage hand tries this lit up mage hand, this ghostly illuminated mage hand, flies across the room and tries the door. It is locked. The same thing with the next one. The mage hand flies across this door to the sort of directly due east away from you are. That one's locked. As the mage hand moves towards this door that you see the footprints moving towards, the mage hand gets close enough to something in the room that it draws your attention, and it is a enormous clay statue of Belcora Haravex. Like a dark brown, an orange brown clay of Belcora, almost in like a feral pose with claw, like her fingernails extended from her hands like claws, screaming like a guard dog or something. So as Ao glances, like the light coming off this mage hand, sending shadows across the exterior of this clay Belcora Haravex, Do you want to try that door, or do you want to sort of stay your hand for a second?
I think stay for a second and figure out a little bit more about what's going on.
So am I remembering right that basically any time we have seen a depiction of Belcora Harvex, there has been
It's like come to life.
some
right?
sort of
Or-
implication that it was either it did come to life, or that it could come to life, or that it was about to come to life, or that there was at least the possibility was there.
They've generally tried to F us up.
And I think we had one. So when we almost all died because of Mr. Beak, I think there was a portrait of her in the hallway before there.
That was like a painting. It wasn't as
It was
much
a
like
portrait,
a constructed effigy. Or like, didn't we have one that was like made out of stuff? Or like one or two maybe that people had constructed?
Are you thinking of the tanker?
Yes, the canker. Yes. Yep.
The
And the
ghouls
skin.
were making like a golem, like a meat golem in the form of Belcora.
So I shouldn't say depiction, but like a physical, like anything that's been more like sculpture rather than like portraiture has tended to have this quality. I
And
think.
everything about this is rather intense. Like, I didn't picture her with, I guess, claws. Like, her
No.
hands are so intense in this.
Yeah.
She's got fat, like her teeth are all sharpened. Like I
it's
thought,
definitely meant to intimidate.
yeah, because Belcora was human, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this doesn't really look human.
All of you are able to see this now. Like I imagine that AO calls your attention to it. Anybody who wants to look at this and try to recall what it is, you can give me Arcana or Crafting Blind, please.
Ooh, yes, please, Arcana.
Crafting. I know how to
Sure it's not a cult?
crafting.
That
It's
old,
not a
that old meme.
cult.
That old bit.
Arcana and crafting. Nope, they're both terrible for me. No point.
Okay, so Istin and Mag both turn their gaze on this clay statue. Mag doesn't have a great sense of what it is, but Istin identifies this as something called a clay effigy. These are, and it's surprising to Istin that that's what he's seeing, because usually effigies are carved in the image of a deity and used to guard tombs, but this is in the form of a very mortal woman who, died hundreds of years ago. And this isn't a tomb per se. Your understanding is that this is a vault, but it's like whoever put this here is using the iconography, the language, the traditions of tomb guardianship to protect this space, and she has fashioned herself as a god.
Right. It's nice to know that her ego survived her death pretty plainly.
The main thing that Istin knows here is that this is an animated creature, and once you step into the room, once you cross a threshold, it will come to quote unquote life.
In a fun way, like Augriel to help us?
We'll see, I guess. I don't want to
Yes,
spoil.
we'll see. Yeah, that's true.
Does Istin have any questions about this particular creature in terms of its the danger that it poses, or how you might get past it?
Yeah. Any weaknesses that might be useful for us to exploit?
Istin is unaware of any weaknesses on this creature. In the contrary, you get the sense that it is very, very difficult to damage. It is very resistant to a lot of things, but it's going to take a little more time to figure out what those things are.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So if you want to give me another knowledge, you can. That's going to be a higher DC, though.
Yeah, might as well try, right? Let's see.
As this depiction of Belcora is frozen in place.
And he's sharing this obviously with everyone.
Yes. So Istin tries to dig deeper. What does this resist? What does this clay effigy resist? And Istin isn't confident enough to make any real predictions here. So what do you want to do? You are standing at the door of this supposed treasure vault. On the somewhere within this treasure vault is hidden the secrets that you are looking for about these lenses. But you do see this clay effigy in front of you. What are you going to do?
I'll say, let's go party, right?
Should Trill use her sling to launch a thing at it? See what happens from a
Yeah,
distance?
like maybe starting out with one of those like firebomb necklaces or whatever.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that anymore.
No,
That
but
was a
you know, like
pretty
that
good thing.
kind of thing.
Yeah, like she could use the caterwaul sling.
I could throw my bola at it. Right? Isn't a bola like a unicycle with straps?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's right on the money.
That's exactly right.
It's like when you put your cards in the spokes, right? You know?
Yeah.
Should we just hop in? Let's do it.
Sure.
What could go wrong?
Trill's gonna send a she's gonna
Honestly,
use her sling and throw a thing at it.
I'll let this sling nonsense happen before rolling initiative, just because this thing looks like an object. It hasn't been like activated yet. So I'm going to say that there are not two sides on a combat here. There's one side on a combat before this sling gets unloaded on her.
Yeah, and I want to go into my inventory real quick. Let's see if we've got any Bravos Brew. Who wants a Bravos Brew? Fear effects? Anybody?
Bottoms up.
Okay, so Trill's gonna send a sling bullet at his construct and see what happens.
Okay. Trill loads her caterwaul sling up.
Doesn't use this that often.
Maybe one of the worst items in the game.
I'm drinking
Let's
this.
see how this plan works.
I'm drinking this Bravos Brew.
Mag chugs a brew. So Trill sends a sling bullet from the caterwaul sling across the room.
Yes. It says that was a 28.
28 means that this bullet, boink, dinks off of the clay surface of Belcora Harovex's face. And you hear a like, as these joints, these clay joints start scraping against each other, and she starts advancing towards the door that you are all hiding behind. And with that, let's roll for initiative.
We have to fight her?
I didn't see this coming. I feel blindsided.
I gotta tell you that this is one of the main things you do in the game is that you fight monsters. It's sort of the game. I don't know.
Really?
Really?
Is that a new thing? Like, is this part of the remaster?
It's part of the remaster. They were like, what if we fought the monsters? For the remaster, they decided to add a thing where you fight the monsters and then take their stuff, which is weird.
Hey,
Smart.
Lars.
I'm into the taking
Yes.
stuff.
Can I ask something? Would you be willing to
Please.
take an Arcana for initiative?
Of course I
from
would. Yes,
Istin?
of course
'Cause he's
I would.
been
Yes.
recalling knowledge?
Will I take
Cool.
Arcana from Istin? Of course I will.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Woo.
All right. So Zoe, as this creature starts moving, there's some magical energy starts animating this clay golem, and it starts walking across the room. How did Ao do on her initiative?
I think she's feeling pretty ready. She knows what she's up against. 37.
Okay. Sounds good. So you're going to have a surprise attack here in the first round, which is very nice for Ao. How did Armat, how did Istin do with this Arcana check?
Istin did great. 19 on the die for a 39. So he is focused and in the zone, ready to blast some constructs.
Perhaps Istin predicted the result that happened in this situation. Perhaps that Istin knew that this would happen.
Yeah.
How did Trill do on this initiative?
I imagined that as the slingshot bounced off of the construct of Belcora, Trill heard the sound as it kind of harmonized with the echo that went off in the room, and she was so focused on the musicality of it that she effed up her initiative roll and only got a 19.
Okay. Would Trill, so Trill, starting at a little bit of a disadvantage, would Trill like to do a battle cry here?
Trill would like to do a battle cry.
Okay. As Trill shouts into the room, she gets the sense that this creature has no mind. It is an animated lump of clay in the shape of Belcora Harovex.
Free recall knowledge, baby.
David, as Mag flies into a rage, how did Mag do on her initiative?
A nice initiative roll. I rolled crafting for initiative. I just decided to mix it up. 18 on the die for a 33.
Fantastic. Great initiative roll from Mag. So that means we've got Istin, Ao, Mag, and Trill up first before this large effigy, this clay effigy, is able to go, which is pretty lucky for the four of you. You've got your run of the gamut, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So who would like to go first, or we can just go in order? You tell me. What are we doing?
I feel like Troll should go first.
Yeah. Mag delays for
Happy
Trill.
to do it.
Okay, so we start the encounter, and here it is Trill's turn. Trill is standing at the doorway leading into the antechamber of a vault, supposedly filled with treasure and also secrets. This room has 3 doors leading into it. One of those doors has footprints in the dust leading to and away from it.
Very exciting.
But that's going to be something that we're going to think about later, because the issue at hand is this clay effigy, a statue of Belcora Haravex, looking like a 12-foot tall vampire thing or something, a scary statue. It's coming after you. What is Trill going to do?
I feel like, to be fully fair, because Trill used her sling, I think the first action has to be to actually put the sling away so that she can use her loot correctly.
You could drop the sling for free?
For free, but then I got to go pick it up
Into your
anyway.
loot, and then you could spend half an hour shaking your loot upside down to get the
Shake
sling
your
out of it.
I think
The
she's
worst.
just going to shove it into her wig of
Okay.
holding.
Single action.
Yeah, single action, shove it into the wig of holding, and then she's going to do what she do and do her lingering comp for Courageous Anthem.
Okay.
And
An
wow,
inspiring song reverberates around the room.
my rolls this session are entirely different from my rolls last session. I just keep getting
Yucky.
3s.
Yucky dice.
So that was a 24, so we just get 1 round of that.
Okay, a failure, but you do keep your focus point.
And for her third action, third action, I don't have a ton of spell options, so I think for third action, you know what? I love to do it. Let's go ahead and just straight up cast Guidance on Mag for an attack, because that's just always fun.
Okay.
And then see how that works out for her. So there you
A
go,
little bit of-
Magaruna.
Magical guidance on an attack from Mag before the end of Mag's next turn. So Trill stands back behind the door and tries to bolster her friends, and it is now either Istin, Ao, or Mag's turn.
I think Istin's raring to go.
Okay, Istin jumps into action. What is Istin going to do? Standing in the doorway.
Yeah, first action. He is going to run a button hook through the doorway and down to here. How do I do that? Down to here. So now the statue
Here
is
being the middle of the room, about 10 feet away from this clay golem, this
Right.
clay effigy.
So he's within range, and then he is just going to start things off with a big spell strike.
Here we go.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to try Acid Grip.
All right, so many dice being rolled.
That's a 33 to hit.
33 to hit does hit.
Awesome. That's 16 bludgeoning damage and 5 acid damage. Ooh, lousy.
So the bludgeoning and the acid damage. Bludgeoning, doink, your staff hits up against the clay effigy, and you get the sense that it is resisting the damage from the staff. The acid splashes all over this creature, this clay golem, and you get the sense that there is a magical resistance covering this effigy to stop you from affecting it. That was, out of the 21 damage that Istin just rolled, that was a total of 6 damage that went through on this effigy.
Wow.
Yeah.
No
Constructs are
acid
tough.
and then resistance to the physical damage.
Resistance to both.
Resistance to both.
It's just that the acid roll
Was lower.
lower.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's Istin's turn.
Okay. You hear the sound of coming out of the door with the footsteps leading towards it, as it is now Ao's turn. Ao is still on the ledge, has seen Istin run in, has seen the mage hand reveal this clay effigy. You're in the position that you are right now because of the recon that Ao conducted on this circumstance, but you don't have a great plan so far. So what do we think is going to happen as Ao does have the element of surprise here because she's going before the clay effigy?
She is going to fire I think from where she is with the door, right? She can fire some arrows.
Yeah, I think that you can, in moving up to the door, you can get yourself into a position where you have a clear shot at this effigy.
So she moves up 5 feet to get to the door, and then is just gonna fire 2 quick arrows at this biddy. I don't have any interesting arrows that seem like they'd be promising it, like clay effigy destroying arrows or whatever.
Believe me, if you did, I would have flagged them for you because this monster is a bear. So
A bear.
Yes,
A clay bear.
it's a clay bear.
All right, that was a bad roll. How about a 26? Is that gonna hit?
That just misses.
No. Well, how about a 1 on the die for a 16? How's that gonna do?
Yeah, sure. Here comes a fumble card.
A fumble card because you fumbled hard.
Very bad.
Very bad. Here comes from the fumble deck. Is it the ace? No, it is the king of spades, and that means that this is just a regular old miss. That is Ao's turn. Ao jumps into the doorway, takes 2 quick strikes, and at this point, you hear the sound of footsteps, clonk, 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 door being opened. And on the far side of this door, you see a creature standing in the doorway. It has just opened the door. It is a large suit of armor with the face of a skeleton inside of it. This is a black metal armor covered with the symbol of Nimbleoth, like on the helmet, on the shoulder pads, on the legs, the skull with the moss on it. And the door opens, and the skull inside this suit of armor says, "Kalido has sensed intruders." And he reaches for a nasty-looking greatsword and starts brandishing it on the other side of the door. And that's it for this creature's turn. It is now Mag's turn, and Mag sees this new combatant enter the fray. Sees everybody having trouble hitting this clay effigy. The situation is spiraling out of control. What is Mag going to do?
Well, big question is, it's not whether to hit, it's what to hit. So she's going to run into the room.
Okay.
There is one square that is sitting between them, and that's where I want to be. I don't want the new thing to be able to enter. I want to stand right in front of the door where it's standing.
Yeah, so right where this door opens up to, Mag is able to run forward and put herself there as just a block, basically.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mag. That was dope.
Does it reactive strike me when I arrive?
This suit of armor holding this enormous greatsword. That greatsword is broad. It is heavy, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't look like it has the reach to get at you as you run up to it, so you don't have any idea about any potential reactive strike.
Okay. All right, I changed my mind again. I'm going to hit the clay effigy with a 2-action slam down. Dinky little roll. 24.
Should be 25. I don't see the
yeah, I guess
guidance.
it's 25 with guidance.
It's a 24 because guidance doesn't stack with Courageous Anthem. The guidance would be useful for the trip coming up after this.
Okay.
Well, but this attack has got to hit in order for the trip to matter.
Tell you what, I owe y'all a hero point from last episode. I think Mag setting herself up in the door. I like where this is going. I didn't take the opportunity when Mag set herself up in the door. Let's throw a hero point at Mag here.
Okay.
I think it makes sense for Mag to have one here, and I owe you one.
I feel like Slab of Cod is kinder than the Golden Tyrant.
I've been doing this stuff for y'all for years.
Lars, I
guys.
know I'm giving you shit. Come
for
on.
actual years, in fact.
I know I'm making content here.
Oh, you're making content. Okay, no, you're right. I mean, you got me. I'm shaving the mustache is what I meant to say.
No.
Thank you, Lars. I will use that hero point to immediately to re-roll this very disappointing 24 attack roll that I've rolled against this clay effigy.
All right. I'm seeing a 26 from you, David. And that, sadly, is going to miss.
Even with my wanting it to hit?
Yeah.
That's a great point.
It is a good point.
All right.
So that is all 3 actions. Mag runs across the room, tries to set up to do a slam down, and comes up short. But the good news is that Mag is in a position to do her other job, which is to get hit.
Yep.
So this clay effigy yells sort of like an animatronic at Disneyland, where it's like the mouth is moving and sound is coming out, but it doesn't sound like it's speaking, and it just yells, "Leave this place!" as he goes, and you hear "leave this place," and all of you need to make a save as 8d6 spirit damage come flying out at you. This is going to be a will save to avoid this damage as you are struck by the need to flee by this magical casting out let loose by this clay effigy.
Is there a word, Lars, for the particular feeling of smugness that you feel when you take the right consumable right before a combat?
In German.
Consumefaction? I don't know.
I am consumifacting right now.
So let's go from top to bottom. Going from Trill all the way down through Istin, how did Trill do?
Trill got a 36, 20 on the die.
Critical success. Critical success, no effect. And Zoe, how did Ao do?
30 for Ao.
Okay, that is a regular success. You're going to take half of that damage. And Mag, David, how did Mag do?
It's a 20 for Mag. Is that including the effects of the Bravos Brew?
I believe it is.
Boo.
And even if it weren't, the DC is a 29. So you are...
Not super close.
Yes. So you are going to take full... you're going to take that full 34 points of damage, and you also start taking 3d6 persistent spirit damage.
Oh, yikes.
Yikes.
Which is crazy. And Istin, how did Istin do?
Istin got a 3 on the die for a 20, but I'd like to use a hero point and re-roll that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
That is a 25.
25 is still a failure. So you are going to take the full 34 points of damage and are also taking 3d6 persistent spirit damage. It's really nasty. This creature it's gross. And it has one more action.
Oh, good.
It's going to use that action to swing its clay fist as all of you are struck by the desire to leave, but standing your grounds. And it slams that fist in the direction of Mag. Here comes a fist strike. That is a 4 on the die. That is a 28.
That does... Oh, no, that does hit. That does hit.
So Mag is going to take 26 points of spirit and bludgeoning damage. It's the kind of spirit that Mag does. The kind of damage that Mag does is being done towards her.
Yeah, and I imagine this is a really strange experience for Mag because it's kind of a new part of herself. So I think she's taking the damage and she's feeling it's unexpected. She's feeling some alarm as well.
Yeah, it's this is a very well defended vault, is what you are learning. It's the beginning of round 2. And here's the situation. Trill and Ao are still just outside the door of this vault. Istin in the middle, Mag blocking a doorway with this heavy black metal armored skeleton creature trying to bash his way in. And so far you haven't found much of any way to have an impact on this clay effigy guarding this room at all, but you have also attracted the attention of this other creature. So it is not a good situation. What is Trill going to do here to respond?
Oh, I actually have to do Courageous Anthem again because otherwise it's going to go away. So Trill's going to have to do Lingering Comp again, and hopefully roll better than last time. And
Another
she did roll
attempt at an
better.
inspiring song.
Yeah, so this time she's a little more focused, and she got a 37. So we got it for 4 rounds, guys.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you,
4
Trill.
rounds of encouragement from Trill, and Trill has 2 more actions.
Okay,
Trill has like more or less a line of sight on the clay effigy, but this new creature in the doorway has lesser cover from Mag and Istin between her and it.
Yeah. So for the clay effigy, nothing with mental trait's going to hit it because it's mindless.
Correct.
So that limits Trill's options. And I feel like it's a clay thing, so it's going to be strong, so it's going to have good fortitude saves. So I probably don't want to target its fortitude.
Reflex being crummy on this thing seems plausible.
Yeah, I don't have a ton that... I only have 1 or 2... I don't have a ton that targets reflex, unfortunately.
The occult spell list is really weak on targeting reflex.
Yeah. Although, electric arc is reflex, so let's go ahead and do that.
And you can get both of these 2 with 1 casting.
Yeah. So that's working up against 11 points of damage.
Okay, they both try to dodge out of the way. This lightning jolts just past Mag as it targets this undead creature on the other side of the door. The clay effigy rolls a 36.
So it's fine.
And this undead creature rolls a 23, which is, I believe, a failure.
I believe it is.
Okay, so that's going to be a full damage. That's going to be 11 points of damage to the undead creature that is just behind Mag. And as Trill casts this spell across the room and injects some much-needed inspiration into the party, it is Istin's turn. Istin, in the middle of the room, and last round had a disappointing attack against this creature that seemed to shrug off basically everything he was able to throw at it. What is Istin going to do?
You know, I think... What was that, Robin?
Sorry, I just wanted to also add, its reflex is not that it's great, is that Lars rolled really well, so just remember that. I think that's more important for Mag, probably, to remember that reflex
Totally something
is...
I was just thinking about.
Yeah,
But
Lars rolled a 20, so...
Right, it's hard to do anything about a 20 on the die. Yeah. I was also thinking...
Sorry, I rolled a natural 20 on this from the effigy.
Yeah, so it's I think its reflex is still probably its lower. I think David was spot on that it's lower save.
I also think we might want to focus on the undead creature because it'll likely be resistant to less damage and thus faster to kill. Anyway, Istin is going to follow Trill's lead and blast out an electric arc. 16 damage.
16 damage. They both try to dodge out of the way. The clay effigy and this undead creature in a heavy black metal suit of armor. The clay effigy gets a 31 and the undead creature gets a 30 on this save.
All right, that is a success. So 8 damage.
Okay, the clay effigy, this electrical energy courses across the room from Istin's staff and just gets blunted by the clay effigy. It's just like you expect it to wrap around this creature and electrocute it. It just goes donk. It's deadened like a rubber boot, basically. No damage to the clay effigy, and this undead creature takes 8 damage.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense according to Pokemon lore.
And this, I should have mentioned, we are playing Pokemon tonight.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
It's a ground type, so of course it's gonna...
It's a ground type. It's immune.
Of course it's not going to get...
What's the difference between a ground type and a rock type? I will never know for my entire life. One of them is immune to electricity. The other one takes it. I don't understand it. I'm an elder millennial. I don't know what's going on. I only played those games because I was at a pawn shop when I was 21 years old and I bought a copy of Pokemon Silver with a hacked save on it. Anyway, I'm sure we've all been there. And you know where else we are? Is here on Zoe's turn. Zoe, it's Ao's turn. What is Ao going to do?
One last
sorry.
action.
Istin's got another
Sorry.
action, please.
Istin's just going to raise his staff to parry.
Okay, Istin sets up a defensive stance, and it is now Ao's turn. Ao still on the ledge outside of this room. What is Ao going to do?
Ao is just going to come in between Istin and Mag and fire 2 quick arrows at the undead creature.
Okay. So we're looking at lesser cover on the undead creature because you're firing through Mag's space. So Mag tries to dodge out of the way as Ao lets arrows loose across the vestibule.
Will a 20 on the die do it, Lars?
Yeah, of course it will. Woo! Let's take a look at this crit deck. Are we going to get the... Nice. Are we going to get the Ace of Spades and do triple damage? It's the 8.
So close verbally,
Spades.
but so different numerically.
But that's a critical hit, so you're going to get to do a little bit of deadly damage via your short bow's goodness.
All right, that's 30 points of damage.
30 points of damage, and also because of your new vitalizing rune that you've just attached on Chompers, they become enfeebled 1, which is great. And you are doing persistent vitality damage to them because of your vitality rune. That is going to affect this undead creature. So let's throw Zoe. In addition to those effects, let's also give Zoe a hero point.
Look at us. Giving out hero points. Having a good time. All right. Feeling like she's got her eye on a good thing. Second arrow coming now. And that one is 31 to hit?
That only hits because of the Courageous Anthem. No, I'm sorry. That only misses because of the Courageous Anthem.
What?
Because you have to fire through mag space. This creature has lesser cover. That does not hit.
Oh.
On the other hand, though, this creature's not going to pop through the door and kill you. Mag is keeping the door safe.
Yay,
for
Mag.
you. So there's upsides and downsides to all of this.
Would you say she's holding the door?
Yes.
Some contraction thereof, maybe something a little more efficient.
Hold the door.
Can you believe, did Zoe and David, did you watch Game of Thrones? Is that a show that you watched?
Yes.
I watched some.
Did you get to the point where the
Spoiler
joke that
alert,
Armat is
Lars.
making makes any sense for you at all?
No?
You made the right choice, Zoe. Congratulations. You did the right thing.
door. Hold
Hold the door. Okay, whatever. Stupid show. Okay, let's see what happens next. The undead creature on the other side of the door says, "Mistress demands Calido stand guard." And this creature reaches its great sword up and whoom, slams it down into Mag. Here comes a strike with a great sword that is a 40 to hit Mag.
That's a critical hit.
Critical hit means that Mag is going to take 38 points of damage, and because of this creature's critical specialization, is that a thing? I'm going to say yes, because this thing believes that it does. Sure. Mag is going to be off guard until the start of her next turn, in addition to taking those 38 points of damage.
Oh. And
it's
cold damage?
It's cold damage. This Mag feels a blast of cold energy as this greatsword comes down towards her, and that blast of cold energy is continued when the creature reaches its hand out. This undead, this black metal armor with a skull inside of it, reaches its hand forward. And go ahead.
Sounds like. Well, no, you have to finish.
It's not. This does not have a manipulation trait on it.
Just flavor.
Reaches its hand forward and poof, a cone of cold blasts out towards all of you. You all get targeted by this cone of cold. You all take 11d6 damage. That is a total of 41 points of damage with a reflex save as you try to dodge out of the way of this blast of cold energy. It is a wintry storm here inside the vestibule, the antechamber of this vault, and icy wind, crystals of snow swirl all around you, and you try to dodge out of the way. So the clay effigy rolls a 31, is going to take half damage. That is a total of 20 points of damage. It seems that none of that is resisted. That cold damage all seems like it goes through. Mag rolls a 29 on her save, which is a success on her reflex save, and so she's going to take half. She takes only 20 points of damage, and actually resists damage from undead because of her new spirit barbarian thing.
Cool.
And so only takes a total of 13 points of damage. How did Trill do on this roll?
Trill rolled poorly again and got a 19.
19 is a critical failure, meaning Trill takes 82 points of damage.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's barely standing.
Barely standing in the door. Istin, Armat, how did Istin do here?
27.
That is a failure, so Istin's going to take the full 41 points of damage.
Okay.
And then Ao, how did Ao do, Zoe?
Ao got a 35.
Okay. That 35 is a success, which rounds up to a critical success because of your the fact that you're a cool person and you designed a good character.
Great. Look at that. It's on record. Feels
What
nice.
am I saying? No!
No.
Get out of my head! Okay, at the end of the of this undead creature's turn, it needs to take persistent damage from Ao's strike. It takes 8 points of persistent vitality damage and rolls a recovery save that it fails. So it is still taking that damage. Huge turn last round from Ao. It is now Mag's turn. Mag is face to face, ice crystals coating her long red hair as she is sandwiched between this clay effigy and the undead knight. What is Mag going to do?
So, team, are we staying or are we going? Trill's just about down. Mag, can I get a hit point count on Mag, Lars? I think I'm somewhere around 80.
Absolutely. Mag has 74 hit points remaining.
Yeah. Istin and Ao, how are you two doing?
Istin is down to 32 out of 107, so he's about a third left.
Yeah.
I think
Like we could try it for another round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See where we're at after one more round.
Okay.
We're not dead yet.
No.
Exactly. I feel happy.
Want to encourage you to
flesh
run
wound.
away at your earliest convenience, but at least get a little distance. Okay, I will.
Trill stayed at the door this whole time for a reason.
Yes.
Hasn't helped, but
Hasn't. Yes. So far, not
Been a
much.
pretty good call, though, I think.
I'm going to start with an Earthbreaker strike against the suit of armor, the sentry.
That is only a 4 on the die, a 24 to hit.
And
So that's a miss.
I imagine that's not going to do it. Okay. I will now, against the same target, I am going to do a 2-action slam down.
Okay.
It's a map 5 on the attack. It'll be a map 5 also on the trip if the attack is successful.
The strike misses by 1, a 30 versus the AC of 31.
That is real irritating. Okay, well, that's Mag's turn.
Okay. At the end of Mag's turn, Mag is taking persistent spirit damage. She's going to take 11 of those and is going to have to roll a recovery check. She needs to be to 15 to recover. She rolls a 6, so she is still taking that persistent damage. It's the clay effigy's turn. The clay effigy is mindless. It's face to face with Mag, and but it does see 2 people standing in front of it in a kind of fortuitous place that she could defend from. So here's what's going to happen. First, the clay effigy reaches out, the scratching sound of clay on clay as it strikes out towards Mag with her fist. That's a 17 on the die, a critical hit of 41.
Yep, that's
Woof.
crit.
Mag is going to take 24 points of spirit and bludgeoning damage, leaving her at 39 hit points. And then this effigy starts going, skrr, dong, 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 and just charges across the room. And it moves through the spaces of Istin and Ao. And each of you needs to make this reflex save as it just slams past you.
Oh, dang.
Can we take our reactive strikes before?
Yes, absolutely, you can do that.
It gets
for
there?
sure.
All right.
Yes.
I was considering whether I should save the reactive strike for the other enemy, but it didn't do anything like that last time. It just stood around. So I guess I'll take it now.
Mag's reactive strike is a 36. That's a hit.
Okay. I'm going to damage. I make damage.
Mag does make damage. That damage
Yay.
that Mag makes is 32 points of damage, and of those 32, 15 goes through.
Holy crap.
Because it seems like it is resisting
Right. All the acid, most of the spirit, and some of the bludge.
all of the spirit.
All
This
the
creature
spirit.
has no spirit.
Right, of course. Oh, my God.
Okay. And how did Isthin's strike do here?
35.
35. That hits, yes.
14 bludgeoning.
14 bludgeoning, 4 of that goes through. Your staff, your Mag's Warhammer, great Earthbreaker, donk off of the clay. Little bits of clay chip off, but it is protected by its solid clay. Doing physical damage to this creature is hard, and also it seems to resist certain types of magic, not other types of magic. It's very confusing. You know what isn't confusing, though, is the fact that it is round 3 and it is Trill's turn. Trill is standing outside the door, and the two of you, how did you do on your saves? Yeah.
Oh, right.
How did you do? I see a 24 from AO.
Yep, 24 from AO.
24
What
from
do I-
Isthin, too.
Okay. Both of those are failures, meaning that this thing barges through your spaces and knocks both of you prone.
Oh, snap. Lars, I also think I need the persistent spirit damage. I think I didn't take it on my turn, and I should.
I'll throw it on to you.
Thank you. And I should.
Thank you for being so honest. Okay, it is the beginning of round 3, and it is a nasty situation inside of this box. This box being this room that is just being shaken around like a Tupperware container with a big rock in it, bashing into the 4 of you who also have been shrunk down and are now the size of like a little action figure or something. You're inside the box and the thing is hitting you and it's hurting. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyway, it's a bad situation. Healing is desperately needed. This is exposing an issue with this party. What's going to happen? I have no idea what's going to happen. It's Trill's turn. Trill is standing on the ledge outside this room. She is near falling unconscious, and she is this party's lifeline. So what is she going to do?
Istin looks to be hurting the most, so Trill's going to cast Soothe on Istin.
Thank you.
Okay,
Keep him
soothing energy.
Alive. So that is 23 points of healing. That was
Thank
those
you.
2 actions. And for Trill's third action, she's going to move away from that doorway and go down the that bridge of space that runs outside the wall of the treasure vault, because she's real hurt. And she needs to get away.
A retreat has begun. Potentially, Trill is protecting herself, but it also seems like maybe if the party decides to run, Trill has got a head start at the very least. It's now Isthin's turn. Isthin is badly injured, standing in the middle of this Tupperware container that I was mentioning before. What is Isthin going to do?
Honestly, I think this might be a greater part of valor moment. I think maybe Isthin's going to retreat as well.
I feel like we should do some research on fighting this type of thing.
Well, we saw
might-
that
yeah.
cold damage all went
Yeah.
through to it. So I think Isthin can go back and learn a
Ice
cantrip
fight.
with ice. But yeah,
Ice to meet you.
cool out.
Party.
Jeez.
So Isthin's just gonna, I guess, stride out of the room.
Isthin turns, runs out the door. He's gone. Is that your whole turn?
You gotta stand up first,
actually,
right?
You know what?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to stand up, then you got to run. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So he has only 1 action left that he can't really do anything with. So yeah, he'll just run out. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Isthin stands up and retreats. The treasure vault, its defenses are crazy. And I'm sure Ao and Mag are
Who'd
just
have
going to hang
thought
out.
something with a lot of valuables in it would be well protected? Outrageous.
Seems
Outrageous. At the end of Isthin's turn, he takes 10 points of spirit damage and needs to recover. So let's bounce a d20 and see what you got.
9 is not going to do it, I don't think.
Continuing to take the persistent damage. It is now Ao's turn. What is Ao going to do here?
Well, I guess the thing to do is get out. So Ao is also gonna stand up and be like, "Wait, the lenses! This is where we're gonna figure out the secret of the lenses!" Sort of indignantly.
Ao, come
Make her
on!
way out.
Yeah. Swimming to the bottom of a lake looks a lot better right about now.
Okay.
Especially with Mag's swimming skills.
So this is really dangerous. Because Mag is alone in this room, and it is now this creature's turn. This undead creature, this suit of armor on the far side of the thing. I'm going to look at something
Sorry, Mag.
on a sheet, and I'm going to realize that I don't know what is happening, and then I'm going to move on. Okay, so this undead creature, this skull or at least a skeleton inside this heavy looking armor, this black metal armor, says, "You have granted Calido a chance to prove his worth to Mistress." Greatsword comes up, comes down towards Mag. 16 on the die. It's a 39 to hit.
It's a crit again.
Okay, Mag. Why is Mag off guard?
I'm
Because
off
of the
guard from
greatsword
its last
critical.
turn, the critical specialization effect from the greatsword.
Oh my god. So that was until the beginning of your next turn. You should have lost that. So
Yep.
you shouldn't be flat-footed anymore. It doesn't make any difference.
No,
it's still a
it's
critical.
still gonna crit me.
60 points of damage.
That'll do it.
Mag had 39 points. So Mag goes
Dying 2.
down to dying 2.
Yikes.
Oh, shit.
How are we gonna get Mag out of there?
And we'll pick up from there
Ooh.
next time.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Roots of Ruin is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit our website, tabletopgold.com, to learn more about us and our shows, join the Golden Horde to get access to more shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.